So look, man, this is New Year, all of that good stuff. Happy New Year, bro. I didn't even say
New
Happy
Year,
New Year,
man.
but yeah, Happy New Year.
Cheers, brother. Happy New
Yeah,
Year,
cheers,
man.
man.
2022.
I don't have my beverage. I could have did a toast with you. I'm drinking some water right now, but
It's all good, dog. We
um,
missed opportunities because
we missed the opportunity because of Marion out here acting crazy.
Marion and this thing,
Yeah, yeah. He was like, y'all thought I was done just when you thought COVID had gone too far. You
right.
want to come do some more stuff, but it's all good. Everybody that are affected that we know are in good spirits. So
If
um
you are listening to this podcast and you have not danced with Omarion yet, God bless you,
yeah,
because
you are
I don't know
blessed.
how.
Yeah, you are blessed because this thing is running rampant everywhere, like no
Man.
man's business at all, bro. So it's been crazy. Um, so it's a new year, and there's a couple of things that we want to do this episode, right? And our listeners, if you have been with us all of 2021, we used to start this thing off with a question, right? So gonna switch it up just a little bit. We're gonna get to the question, but I had to get something off my chest first, bro. So
Okay. Safe space. Safe space. Do you think?
yeah, safe space. So, and I was meaning to hit the fellas up in the group chat after this happened, but bro, like I got into a heated exchange. Um, and honestly, it was more so heated on my end than on the other end. So I'll paint the scenario.
Okay.
This week, my mother did the gave a blessing by taking the kids, right? So like the
Mhm.
kids have been at grandma's house. So like wife and I, we've been able to like catch up on date nights. Basically, we
Mhm.
haven't really had a chance to have a lot of date nights throughout the year, and we took advantage this week to like really just go out and spend time with each other. And we had a lot of activities and things of that nature that we were able to get accomplished. Um, but we were headed to get dinner or lunch. It might have been lunch, and we stopped at well, actually it was right after we got no, it was right before we were going to get dinner, and we stopped at the post office. And so I'll even tell you the post office that we stopped at. If anybody ever been on Cobb Parkway, there's a post office like in the plaza with like the Old Navy, LA Fitness, all of it over there, like across from
Yep. Yep. Got the little Asian
Cumberland Mall.
restaurant beside it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. It's a whole little situation. So, pulled up and dropped, let her get out the car to go into the post office. And so I'm turning into a parking spot, right? And so there's a gentleman who was walking behind my car as I'm
Mhm.
turning into the parking spot. So you know how he's right here, the car is right here, the post office is here. I'm dropping Trina off, and she get out, and so it's literally like he's here, I'm here, and I'm turning into the parking spot,
Mhm.
and he's walking, and he kicks my car, right? So I'm like livid. I'm like livid to the point where I'm like, I parked my car, I get out the car. I was like, dude, did you just kick my car?
He kicked. Wait.
Kick my
Like
car.
you don't mean by
Like,
accident?
no, this wasn't an accident. This was a kick my car. So I was like, dude, did you just kick my car? And mind you, I guess I didn't realize how loud I was, but like
Mhm.
Trina stopped at the door and came back outside and was like, huh? Like she thought I was talking to her, like trying to.
Yeah.
I was like, that dude just kicked my car. Cause like he
Yeah.
walked in behind her. So she came back out and was like, huh, are you talking to me? I was like, no, that dude just like kicked my car. And she was like, did you kick his car? And he was like, no, I didn't kick his car. I was like, dude, why you kick my car? Like, I'm
Mhm.
like pissed off. And
Yeah.
then he was like, well, he cut me off. And I'm like, cut you off? Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, no, first off,
First and foremost.
first and foremost. And so, like, by this time, he's coming back outside. And
Okay.
so while he's walking back outside, I'm talking to him. I'm like, dude, why did you kick my car? He's denying it. Like, no, I didn't kick the car or whatever. I didn't kick the car. I was like, dude, so like you gonna sit here and like lie to me in my face and tell me you didn't kick my car. So I just made up that you kicked my car.
Mhm.
And he looked and like he had some nervousness in him or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I just heard Trina was like, look, is anything wrong with the car? Don't worry about it. Just get back in the car. Right.
Yeah.
And so it took everything in me, bro.
I can imagine.
Like I'm like at this point, I'm like, no, F that. Like I'm about
Yeah,
like I'm really because I ain't been I don't I'm if y'all know me, I'm a gentle dude. I don't let too many things bother me, bro. But like the level of disrespect, and when he said that he didn't do it,
yeah, it took it to the
that
next level.
triggered me, bro. Because I'm like, not only did you like disrespectfully kick my car, then you're gonna lie about it, and then you like first off, you said you. I heard my wife repeat what you said in the store. So you told her one thing. Then when you walk out the store, the post office,
Yeah,
you're gonna tell me a different thing. Like
yeah,
bro, like I didn't just make up that you kicked my car. Like I looked at you in my rearview mirror, kicked my car, bro.
yeah.
Like what are you? So he's walking by me, and mind you, I'm in my car like steaming, like because I'm like, it was that moment of where you know how like you trying to do what your wife say, but like I'm in the car like, no, he about to get all of me right now, like for real,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like, so I'm like
yeah.
visibly so pissed off. Like I'm in the driver's seat, like white knuckle, 10-2, because I'm trying to not do anything. But at the
Yeah,
same time, I'm watching him like a hawk all the way to his car. Like he saw me, the fear that I must have instilled in him because he got in his
yeah,
car and like he backed up and like was just on some. I'm looking at him like, boy, you know, and he speeds
like
off,
look at me.
right?
All you gotta do is look at me the wrong way, so I can get
Yeah,
back out
yeah,
the traffic.
yeah. And he
Yeah,
like, drives off and speeds off or whatever. And I'm like, bro, I was so hot. And when Trina got back in the car, we had a discussion on like she was like, "Yo, do you want to go and get something to eat still, or like you want to go home?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna let him mess up my day." But like, I can't lie to you, like I'm like pissed off of it was
yeah,
just like the level of disrespect. And I was telling her like I've been having a real issue with entitlement lately.
mm,
Like that's been one of those things of like that has been bothering me over the past couple of 2 weeks. Like
okay,
couple of weeks, just real like where people feel entitled enough to the point where they can disrespect people and that like nothing happened.
yeah,
And when he did that, that was just like it sent me over the edge, bro. I was just like, no, bro, like you ain't finna just like act like you
man.
didn't do, you know what I'm saying? Oh. So I didn't get a chance to talk to the fellas about that, and I'm glad that you're here now, so we can kind of work this
Hey,
out
man.
because
I'm,
yeah,
listen, I'm just glad you got it off your chest.
yeah,
You know,
man,
while the in me wanted to
bro,
hear you go off for all of us. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
man.
At the end of the day, man, let's just thank God the wife was there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she was inserted into that moment to pause.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I mean, who knows? Who knows what things could lead to? You know, I mean, I know
100%.
we absolutely face those moments where we are already bubbling as it is. We just don't know it, and it take the right person, to take the right thing to set us off. So, you know, I'm just at the end of the day, bro. Like, no harm, no foul. I'm glad you got back in the car.
Yeah. And once it's over with, I'm glad I got back in the car too, because in the grand scheme of things, it means nothing, right? It's
Yeah, for sure,
materialistic.
absolutely.
Like worst case scenario is I could have called the police for him vandalizing property, right? Like it wasn't any
Mhm.
damage on my car, but um, that's just worth it wouldn't have been worth whatever the outcome would have been, right? Like the outcome, even if I would have knocked him out,
Yeah,
I
because
would have
then
got arrested.
you would have been the aggressive
I
black
would have
man,
been
or
arrested.
worse,
Yeah, or worse, right? Or
Like, let's keep it fun. You
yeah, he
know.
could have had a pistol. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could have been anything. So
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, I'm thankful that my wife was there to diffuse that situation. But I'm also glad that it happened in front of my wife too, because
Mhm.
it opened the door for a conversation about like just why I'm feeling this way or like what's
Yeah.
going. So it was a moment, but bro, like I'm talking about, I haven't been that pissed off at somebody in a long, long time. Like
Yeah.
that was a a furious type of anger that overcame me, bro. Like it was just on some. It, it was just the audacity. That's what it was. It was like the audacity for you to do what you did and then deny it, and it's just like, I don't know, bro. I almost lost it though. I can tell you that much
Bro,
for sure.
you bring up an interesting point, and we didn't even really plan to talk about this tonight. Like we
Yeah,
got a
but we
whole
here
nother
now.
topic.
Yeah, we here.
We
No,
here,
yeah,
so
yeah, we here.
let's just dive. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, honestly, man, like society is things are like bubbling to a head right
Mm-hmm.
now for a lot of people, bro. Like honestly, this past week for me has been real interesting because I had ample time to really kind of dive into some deep emotional feelings and weights that I had been carrying and had a chance to share a ton of that stuff with my wife. And we're all talking about stuff that's like been brewing over years, not like directed towards her or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that, but just challenges that I've been wearing on my own, right? Like mental stress, and bro, what I realized is like, this past year and the year before that too has just been like a lot of people are at their edge right now. Like they are like at the limit. It's funny we're having this conversation going into 20, are in 2022 now.
Right.
Coming right out the year, new year, but it's like I think folks are like ready to snap, bro. And so like to even hear you say that, you of all people at that, like you are
Yeah, yeah,
you're gentle. Like out of
yeah,
all of us, you're probably the cooler head. I mean, it's probably between you and Ace,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and like the rest of us might like have had some words. I mean, you made me think of the situation where me and Brian were in the car with Ace one day, and this dude parked beside us and like opened his door aggressively and slammed into Ace's side. And me and B looking like we about to get out the car. And Ace was like, it's cool, it's cool. Y'all don't worry about it. We like, bro, he just hit your car, bro. You gonna let him get away with it? I mean, but
Right.
moments like that is when we're not in our right minds. We see red. God knows what happens if we give over to our retaliation side, or
Yeah,
even
yeah,
just whatever our emotions are. So it's interesting, man. What I realized this week is like I gotta do more like releasing. Like
mm,
I gotta talk, bro. Like I have to share a lot more than what I'm used to sharing. Because and we've talked about this on the podcast in a lot of episodes, but like men in general, black men specifically, are used to just wearing and just going to the next moment and trying to
yeah,
make it to the next moment, performing through the next moment when 9 times out of 10, a lot of us about to explode for whatever reason.
yeah, bro. All right, so in another moment of full transparency, I um I started journaling again. It was something I picked up back in 2020, and then
Yeah.
I stopped for whatever reason. You know how it is. Like life just picked up, and I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna do it. So I wrote some stuff, which I'm not gonna share everything that I wrote,
Yeah.
but because what I wrote was mainly for my wife to see. So I'll keep that moment between me and her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say what I did. One of the last things I wrote, and I'm going to say it too. And for those that are not used to hearing me curse, I'm sorry, but I'm going to write what I said. And so
Yeah, for sure.
um, I said I don't like putting my shit on other people. Sometimes
Yeah.
New Year resolution, say that shit. And
Bro,
that's where
that's
I'm at. Like, so
period.
that's where I'm at. And because what you just said just then just reminded me of it. Like, because that's all it is, bro. Like we are always protecting everybody else by keeping stuff to ourselves, but really all we're doing is killing ourselves at the same time.
100%.
Yeah, that's it.
100%, bro. That's literally. It's funny you say that, bro. That's literally what she asked me to do from now on.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was even deeper for me because what I shared with her was I'm so used to saving what I have to say for the sake of everybody else.
Yep.
I'm so used to keeping quiet or not saying how I really feel, whether it's in the moment, whether it's about issues at work, whatever it is, for the sake of the overall win, right? When it's not doing anything for me. Like
Yeah.
it's and then at the same time, it doesn't even give me room to be me or to express what I need to express to get past something. So what I do, I end up bottling it up, suppressing it, pushing it down. It causes more stress, whole 9 yards. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But you said it, bro. Say that.
Yeah.
Like
Like that's where it's
say
at.
it. Say it. And granted, for those out there listening who can completely relate, find the right way to say it. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. 100%.
and it's not that you're always going to have that, because sometimes you just need to say it. But if you have the opportunity, write it down, you know, breathe, whatever that moment is. If it's too tense for you, if it's not the right emotional space, find the right way to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might save your life or somebody else's, straight up.
No, no, that's real, bro. Like because it's so important. Um, Part of it is I think we are also reaching that age of understanding exactly who we are
Yeah,
and accepting exactly who we are and not really caring what anybody else think about who we are. You know
100%.
what I'm saying? Like
Period.
that's where we're getting to. And you always hear the jokes about it, like, when the dudes hit a certain age where they just like, no, but this is who I am. Like, and it is what it is, right? And I just think that a part of that is we're growing into that person. But you look at the people, and we've said this before, bro, but like the people who just don't care, like, and when I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but like the people who are just like unapologetically who they are, they live very peacefully, bro, because like they don't question for anything. Like, no, I'm just gonna say it, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna deal with the consequences, if there are any consequences of what I'm gonna say, right?
Yep.
And I think as we're having this conversation, and I'm able to kind of talk through it, when we live more in that space, is it's definitely not being safe like how we are typically. We're trying to be safe, and not necessarily safe in a way of worrying about the result. We're really just trying to save everybody around us. That's really all it is.
Yeah,
We're just trying to
for
save
sure.
everybody else around us. And so I think when we get into that space of not worrying about the safety, and then it opens up for having conversations, whether those are easy or hard conversations. It just opens the door to have those conversations. And honestly, bro, it's like when you have tough conversations with people who are around you, if the love is genuine there, then you'll continue to have tough conversations. If if you can't keep having tough conversations, then more than likely those people probably don't supposed to be in your life. And I know that might be tough for people to hear, but
Yeah.
I really don't need people around me who I can't have a tough conversation with, and we can have a space to talk. And whether we
Yeah.
disagree or not, we can still have a tough conversation. I think that's important, and not like trying to tiptoe around certain conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And my wife even shared with me, man, something that was real helpful too. She was like, you can't just have people you talk to who understand you, but aren't necessarily going to hold you accountable either. Like you,
Mm-hmm.
like, because I mean, it's very easy to just have folks that you enjoy venting to, especially when they're not challenging you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so I mean, I'm thankful, like, for our brotherhood, man, and just the brothers of this podcast who have always challenged each other. You
yeah.
know, and my other brothers too, man. Shout out to my brother Chaz and my brother Thomas, man, who I've known for almost 30 years, over 30 years, who also challenged me. But on top of that, bro, I'm thankful to have a wife that's ready to challenge me at
Mm-hmm.
any thought,
Yeah.
and she encouraged me to, like, she was like, live freely, like you know who you are, or you're learning who you are now more than ever. Be comfortable enough to say what you really feel and think, and say it, especially if it's going to make you wear it, without her knowing it, without other people that need to know it, knowing it. And man, that's, if anything, I know, we often talk about like New Year's resolutions and whether people live by that type of thing. I mean, for me personally, I think that's inspiring for those that it inspires, and that's fine. I'm personally just trying to get better every day.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one thing that I do want to come into 2022 doing, which is being comfortable saying exactly what I feel and think and not carrying it, you
Yeah.
know, because I
No,
mean,
that's
I
real.
just want to be healthier that way. So
That's real, man. And I think that's just it's so important that we it's so important that we find a way to express how we feel. And with clarity. We definitely need to be able to express how we feel with clarity. But also we need to be able to tell people like, hey, I might not have the words for how I feel, but
yeah,
this is what's going on right now, right?
yeah,
Because I know for me, I'm like that often where so I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say, but
yeah,
I think we still have to find a way to communicate through not knowing what to say. Also, right?
yeah,
Like so, even if we'll use some, you know, casual, but like say I don't want to go to a location, right?
yeah,
Even though that's something small, but we can still find ways to say that we don't like instead of saying I don't want to go to this location, how about suggesting another location? Right? That's
yeah,
you're telling the person that you don't want to go here, but you're also like giving an out too, because like, hey, this is I don't, I don't like that sofa, but man, here go two other ones that I enjoy. It's just saying what's instead of like being stuck with a sofa for like the next 10 years. And I'm just saying, I'm using these dumb examples of what quote
but
unquote, but it you could have just said from the jump that you didn't like this,
yeah,
but now you walk in your house every day and you're resenting it because like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't step up to the plate and say what you need to say at the time when you need to say it. So yeah, I think that's important too.
yeah, man. Well, that's free right there for everybody, man.
Yeah,
Like literally did not plan to chat about that right now,
we
but
didn't
just
we didn't plan that at all. I think we fell into a great conversation though with that,
for sure.
even though that wasn't the plan. And I think as I'm walking through all of this, that probably would have been a great conversation for Patreon. But you know something, let's do something special for the
Okay.
people.
Okay.
So we're gonna cut this, right? We're gonna cut
For sure.
this and say that was a Patreon episode, but instead of it being just exclusively on Patreon, we want to give everyone a taste of what Patreon is, right?
Okay.
So this, while this is normally a Patreon episode, this will be free for everybody. So like if you're not a Patreon subscriber, this is a taste of what our Patreon would be, right? So enjoy it. And if you enjoy these type of conversations, because they do get like this, where we are like,
They go deep. They go
yeah,
deep.
we go deep, unfiltered. We really talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, then this is what you're missing on Patreon. So this is a free Patreon episode. But if you want more content like this, by all means, please subscribe to our Patreon account and tell a friend to tell a friend, because that allows us to do some very special things that we don't get a chance to do unless you guys are there to help and support. So thank you. Thank you. Enjoy.
Yeah, I appreciate the listeners too, man. Like
Oh
just
yeah.
for letting us have these opportunities, because I mean this is therapeutic for me.
Oh,
Honestly,
bro,
like our
definitely.
podcast, and we have deep relationships as brothers already. All the guys on the podcast, and happy New Year to our brothers that couldn't make it on tonight. Shout out to Corey, Tori, Brian, Chris, and Lasana, also
Mhm.
known as Ace. Man, we love you guys, man. Love you and your families, and happy New Year to you guys too. Can't wait to hear you guys back on the podcast. But I mean, to our listeners, man, especially those who have been with us, from jump. Man, we're we're 2 seasons in and going strong, and we're getting the feedback. You know, I mean, the listeners are letting us know that the conversations that we're having here, unapologetically Black, authentic, you know, real, who we are at the core of who we are, but also very much connected to the people that are listening to us, man. We're hearing back that these matter, that these conversations matter. And we just want room and space to keep them going for you guys, honestly. So thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, this is going to be the end of the Patreon episode that you guys are getting exclusively. Actually, it won't be. It's to everybody, so it's not an exclusive episode. Everybody get it. But what we're going to do now, we're going to cut this thing off now, and then we're going to get into what our episode really is supposed to be about this week.
Yep.
The Black Men Think Podcast.